something bubbling up that I would like to share. It's an interesting learning that's going on inside of me, and I'm more and more getting it in that, my higher self will keep bringing it to me until I master it. So I felt to share it in case it's helpful for anyone else. So we as human beings, we have been programmed by society, by our upbringing, by our environment to react to the outer. So something happens outside of us, and our first response is a reaction. And in some cases that is obviously very smart. Like if a ball or a projectile or a bike or something comes your way, or a dog shoots over the road, and you want to avoid it. Okay, so we've learned to react. But if we take a moment after our initial reaction to reflect on what is presented to us, what does something mean? What are we being shown by the outer? Then we find that what is presented from the outer is actually an internal condition. It's an internal belief. It's something that we have on some level in our soul self. So within us, in our light body, within our awareness, within our mind, we have said to ourselves, this is what's true about my world. I believe in this. This is what's occurring for me, and therefore it can occur again. And so I believe that this can happen. Yeah. So next time something like that occurs, we have a similar reaction to the first time that we believed it. We have then accepted a programming that we did ourselves, which is really funny actually if you think about it, in terms of what the parameters are. Yeah, like this is the cause and that is the effect. And then we have something or someone or a circumstance that we can blame. So we can then say, okay, that is not a pleasant thing. We want to avoid that at all costs. But now here comes the opposite of that, or a higher truth, I think you can call it that. Because this reality of reacting to something outside of us is a 3D. So that means a polarized reaction in terms of black and white, good and bad, him and me, or yeah. So we polarize things, we split them off from ourselves. But in all truth, we are not separate. We are not separate from anything. We are part of everything. So that means that the outer, what we perceive as the outer, that's really important. That's an important distinction to make. What we perceive as the outer is an immediate effect of our inner truth, our inner reality. And the more light we embody, the quicker the effects can come into being. The quicker you see what you believe, you see yourself, you see your own truth, your own beliefs. So if we notice, and this is a hard concept to grasp at first, we need proof of that, which is, rightfully so. We want to learn this, we want to experiment with this. But when we begin to really understand how this works, you understand that you are the cause and the effect. And the cool thing then is that you no longer need to say to yourself, what is right for me, that relationship or that job or that, who is offering me the best deal, who is the nicest, who is the meanie, because it doesn't matter anymore, because you need to change all of that inside of yourself. So everything you potentially perceive then within the meanie or the good boss or the new relationship or whatever, everything that you want is actually showing you something. It's a sign of your next level of where you can move towards. It's your next, let's say, soul desire that reflects an opportunity for you to heal a part of yourself, to step into something that's unified, to step into something that's higher in terms of relationships, in terms of relating, in terms of understanding yourself. So it's not a bad thing to want something better. That's the first step. You need to really want something. It's a good thing. But what doesn't help you if you continuously, for example, leave relationships or jobs or places or circumstances because you feel they're not giving you what you need. That's never ever going to change things if you don't change what's in here, if you don't change what's in your heart, if you don't change what's programmed by you in your body field, in your soul, in your heart, in your cellular memory, in terms of your conditioning. Those are the parameters that you put in place. And if you don't change them, nothing's going to change. So you've got to change. You've got to change it in you. If you want more money, you need to be a bigger vessel. What do I mean with that? Is that you need to see yourself as so large that you are equal to that amount of money. So it's about your self-value. Yeah. If you want a better relationship, of course, I'm not saying you need to put up with abuse. Yeah. If something happens that threatens your very well-being, that's not okay. You know, you can remove yourself from that. But at that point where you are back into starting to function in a safer environment, you will need to address your inner core values and core beliefs about what you hold to be the truth for yourself, what you see that is your reality. And the funny thing is, by your very act of observing something, by your mind connecting with the conditions, with what is presented, that's already the healing if you understand it. At the point where you can connect with something on the level that it is created, and you can then go into it without fear, but you go into it with love, with awareness, with your light. You can then bring it up. You can bring it up to a higher frequential reality, and you can bring it from a duality or polarized existence into a unified level of being, which means that you've healed it within yourself. And that's what we're doing. It's what we're all doing on the planet right now, whether we do this consciously or not yet conscious. That's a little bit slower, that's lower in vibration. But everyone's playing a part, yeah? So you can sort of see it as our higher selves, maybe our oversouls, or maybe on the level of the monad. We send down these soul extensions as complete parts that are equal to the monad, but then they're like they're not fragmented in themselves, but they're parts of yet whole in themselves, and they are sent down as soul groups in different scenarios, different societies, cultures, with different sets of rules, values, and parameters to tidy up after ourselves. That's what we're doing on the planet right now. But then I'm going into a whole different story again, and I don't want to make this too long, but this is what we're all here for. We're all healing our fears. We're healing what is not in unity yet. And we can only do that from the inside out. So if you see yourself reacting to something from the outer, it's perfectly okay. That's your first clue. But then take a moment and change everything that you want to heal, everything that you observe, by going into it, by owning it, knowing that it's your creation, that you are part of it. Change it within yourself, change it within your body field, within your heart, within your mind, and within your observations. And trust me, your observing of that reality, the way you connect with it, changes it. It changes the parameters, it changes the frequency. The more love you can bring to something, the quicker you can shift it. And so it is. Thank you for listening. Much love.